Hi, I'm Stephanie, and welcome to my first Flosstube. So, I want to start this with a warning. I am constantly Hot Mess Express, so if you're looking for somebody all organized, who irons their things and knows numbers and dates and other stuff, go watch somebody else, because that's not me. This is my first Flosstube. I am planning on doing a little bit of an introduction and a WIP parade and some retreat prep because I leave tomorrow to go to Philly to go to Sweater Weather. And I'm super excited. So it's my second time going. So at least I'm a little bit more knowledgeable about what to expect, but it's still chaos. So, and I did plan to be a little bit more organized, and have some notes on my second monitor I have on my like side desk. But my husband stole my HDMI cord last week and I've not seen it since. So, men, right? No, I'm just kidding. Um, so, more about me. My name is Stephanie. I live in Northern California, just outside Sacramento. I am a stay-at-home mom of a toddler and two dogs and two fish, and my husband works at home. So, um, it's a lot. Pretty much always busy. You'll usually see me in a hoodie or a sweater and some comfy pants because I spend most of my day chasing a toddler. I am a multi-crafter. I cross stitch, I knit, I occasionally crochet, but it's not really my thing anymore. I sew cross stitch adjacent goodies like tote bags, project bags, grime guards, etc. And I also recently got back into quilting. Um, I'll try to keep this mostly cross stitch, but I'm really into my quilting right now and my knitting, so it might pop up. Um, you can find me on all social media at Will Stitch for Coffee, same handle here. I'll put that down below. So I do post pretty regularly on my Instagram about my quilting and knitting and stitching, though I have not been posting as much stitching lately, and I'll explain why later. Um, anyways, I'd like to talk a little bit about my stitchy setup. I know everybody always asks, what's your stitchy setup? So I'm in my shed. We live in a small old house, a lot of people, not a lot of space. So this year, it was completed this year, it started last year. We actually built me a shed. So it is 2-story, as you can see the stairs here. About 250 square feet total. I have my stitchy chair over here. I have my desk downstairs, and then upstairs is all sewing. So ironing board, sewing machine, cutting table, and a whole lot of storage. It is organized chaos. I typically can find everything, but it, especially right now with the packing for the retreat, it is a mess. Um, and this also tends to be the kind of catch-all spot for the things that can't be in the house, like my kids' Christmas presents upstairs. Up until yesterday, I had every cleaning product in the house outside in here because the cabinet where they normally live was flooded and needed to be fixed. So it was fun. But hey, my sink works again, so that's good. But yeah, so as far as like my stitching habits go, I typically stitch anywhere from 14 to 40 count. If I'm stitching on Ada, it's probably in hand, usually 2/1. If I'm stitching on linen, it's usually 2/2. 32 count, 2/2 is my sweet spot. I tend to prefer a Nerge hoop over a Q-snap. But you'll see, because when I show my WIPs, you're going to have to bear with me. I have a lot. I'm not showing you them all today. Some of them are upstairs because they're kind of out of the rotation. I don't take things off hoops. If they're in hoops, they're in hoops. You're going to see them in the hoop. If they're not ironed. They may have hanging threads. They may have needle minders. Sorry, I get a couple hours a day to myself, so I do what I can. I typically don't know dates as to when I started something, finished something, etc. I kind of usually know fabrics and flosses. I tend to keep up with that. if I have a stitch count for something because it's pattern keeper friendly, cool, I'll give you that. If not, sorry. Yeah. I do tend to get a little bit of time to myself in the mornings because my kiddo is in preschool, thankfully, because otherwise I'd not have any time for myself. So, yep. Anyways, on to the WIPs. I don't want to be here all day, sorry. I got other things to do like crafting and packing. I am going to talk a little bit about, at the end, I'm going to talk about what I'm taking to the retreat. Like it'll be, I'm showing you the WIPs I have now that aren't going. Then I'll show you the WIPs that I am taking a new start when I plan on finishing there, another possible new start. And then I'm going to talk about some other stuff I'm bringing. So if you're one of my table mates or I know you or you're going to be at the retreat and you don't want to see what I'm bringing, that'd be a good time to stop. I'll let you know though. Okay, on to the WIPs. So I'm doing the monthly Quakers from the Heart Needle Arts. And so far this year, I have finished every month on time, like after March, because I started in mid-January. So I played catch up for a while. But I finished every month except for September because I just couldn't do it. It's a very dense month. But I have started November. And I'm realizing now that my camera is backwards. Sorry. I also am not going to edit. You get one take, done. I will figure out how to fix my camera, but I have one day to do this, and I have about the next 2 hours to get this filmed and uploaded. So that's a future Stephanie problem, as Katie would say. So this is November. I've just gotten a small start. This one probably won't be finished on time because there was something else taking up my time. It's fun. I'll be glad for the year to be over. This is stitched on 18 count white Aida from Michaels because I could get a lot of it. It is 2/2 or 2/1, and it's always the provided DMC conversion. All right, next up is Arctic Animals by the Frosted Pumpkin. So I am currently working on, you can't see this because it is super duper light. So, and I do have can lights directly above my head, like the recessed pancake light or whatever. So there is a little bit of a glare and I can't do anything about it because otherwise it's dark. So, sorry, bear with me. I'll figure this out eventually. This is my first Flosstube. So I am working on the little cabins and this big iceberg. This just came out 2 weeks ago. And I've been stitching on it. I've kept up with this so far this year, but I probably will be cutting it close on finishing this clue before the next one comes out on the 14th. But just because it's a lot of white. Okay, I do keep my things in, as you can see, this lovely giant pile of Ziploc bags. I do tend to keep my things in Ziploc bags. This is an old house. It is California. I had my stuff in the garage for a long time as the shed was being built. I just find it most convenient, and things tend to stay out of the Ziploc bags, and I can close them and not lose anything most of the time. So I literally at one point went and bought 4 bags, or 4 boxes of those 2.5 gallon Ziploc bags. So there will be crinkles, sorry. And these are in no particular order. I literally just pulled them out of the bin because I had WIPs in a basket under my desk. Most of my active WIPs are in this coffee table chaos back here because I can reach them from my stitchy chair. I have literally just my suitcase open on the floor with the stuff I'm taking in it. Yeah, it's fun. So bear with me. This one is, give me just a second. I'm going to grab some paper or something. A notebook will do. So this is Kringles by Little House Needleworks. I purchased this at Acorns and Threads in Portland, which I very, very greatly miss having a L&S. Our closest one's over an hour away from me. Purchased this in 2020, started it. It is intended to be a gift for my mother-in-law. Put it in timeout for a while because, as you can see, I had a little run-in with some highlighter. I have finished the first page. It is a perpetual WIP. I break it out every so often when I just need something quick and easy to work on because I am in a very big fill-in section right now. So it goes quickly. Next, this is, oh, and that's Called For Floss, Called For Fabric. Bought it at Acorn and Threads, immediately kitted up. So that one's just as called for. This is Wilted Witch by Lori Holt from the Fat Quarter Shop. Be in My Bonnet. This project I love because Halloween's my favorite season. I quilt. It's super cute. However, I loved it. I'm not a big block stitcher. Like, I don't want a big block of color to stitch. It bored. So I kind of put it down. I will get back to it. I love it. Just, it takes time. That is Called For DMC Floss. This is a fabric called, it's 32 count. It's called Vigilant Vianne. It's by a lady called on Flosstube, and her Etsy shop is Those Missing Stitches. She is my local fabric supplier. Also, if you're local to Sacramento and you're not in my group, my local Stitchy group, we meet once a month at the library, some library around Sacramento. Let me know in the comments. I will get you hooked up with our Facebook group so you can come stitch with us once a month. We're a lot of fun. I do get to go to 2 Stitchy events, typically a month, but I only get away once a year. And I look forward to that all year. And I literally plan it from the point in time I get those dates. So this is, sorry, I'm trying to get this upright. Celtic Knot Challenge by Rosewood Manor. This was my first foray onto 1/1 stitching. This is on 25 count antique white Lugana. Called For DMC Floss. It is just, it's a lot. There's a lot of black. 1/1. I have not been doing a ton of 1/1. It was my first 1/1 on linen. Well, Lugana. I have the attention span of a gnat, so I tend to have my hands on a lot of things every day. And I tend to, I'm the world's worst. I tend to finish one thing and start 3 more. So, sorry about the crinkle, crinkle, crinkles. This is going to be a little bit hard to see. I can already tell. Because this is some dark fabric. I love it, but it's dark. I have to be in the right mindset with the right lighting. I do have several pancake lights in here. I do have an alt light. I do have a natural light behind me during the day. That window actually right there faces due east. So the lighting's great, but this one, that's very hard to stitch. This is the Christmas Celebration Sampler by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. It is on 32 count Crystal Herald by Pictureless Plus. It is all the Called For flosses. Like I said, most everything's 2/2 if I can manage it. Yeah. You'll notice I stitch a lot of Frosted Pumpkin, a lot of cutesier things, but I'm kind of all over the board. The one thing you won't find in my videos is HAIDs. I can't do super full coverage. This is a very, very tiny very tiny start. I was having issues with my stitchy bug trying to leave me, so I was starting all of the things, trying to get it to come back to me and not leave me forever. This is, and I don't have printed pictures for any of these, and I'm not going to edit this one, so bear with me. It's my first Flosstube. I will be more organized in the future when I'm not leaving in 24 hours. This is Hello Halloween. It says hello, or sorry, Happy Halloween. It's by Erin Elizabeth Designs. It's very cute. This is 36 count Mirage by Picture This Plus. I am stitching a 2/2 with a conversion my friend did of NPI silks and silks for you. So it's going to be an all silk project. I'm not really a 36 count stitcher particularly, but and the silks kind of were a pain because they tangled, because they'd been in a bag for a while. It didn't scratch the itch, you know? So we moved on. Sorry. That was, oh, I do have a picture. Hey, I'm somewhat together. And I've just realized I have pictures for other things. So today was not my day to be organized. I feel like I've had way too much caffeine and I've had barely any. So it's Happy Halloween by Erin Elizabeth, or Halloween Pumpkin says Happy Halloween. Very cute. Really looking forward to doing this once I deal a little bit further with the silks. This is by Little Stitch Girl. This is Autumn Avenue, I think. I don't know. It's Autumn something Street. Okay, because they're all like Spring Street, Summer Circle. Yeah. Okay, so this is stitched on 14 count oatmeal Ada from Michaels. I do have all of the seasons for this, as well as the Christmas and Halloween one, and all of her plaid houses to do as well. I'm doing the DMC conversion on this because I was impatient and didn't want to wait for the fancy flosses. But I do have a couple, so I may just add those in. 2/1, 14 count. So I feel like I should have not filmed today. I feel like I should have been more prepared, but I knew there would be chaos in the shed with the packing, so I decided to take advantage of that chaos because I know filming Flosstube is chaos too, and I just realized I'm already 20 minutes in. I have a lot more WIPs and a lot more packing stuff. So I'll do a bigger WIP parade later. I will keep them separated. You will get a full-on WIP parade later. A lot of my stuff is smaller starts anyways. So, sorry. Moving, rearranging, changing plans because I don't want you to have to watch a 2-hour video for my first video. You'll get a good WIP parade, promise. So part of the reason I have not been stitching anything else and posting anything else is because my mother-in-law follows me on Instagram, which is fine, but I've been working on her Christmas gift, which I'm going to show you. So if you're my mother-in-law, please act surprised when you see this if you watch my videos. I'm also making 2 of these. So I'm making one for her, one for my aunt. Again, please act surprised. I just finished this yesterday. Just finished the stitching. It still has to be fully finished, but I need to start the second one. I've briefly started the second one, and I need to kick into full gear on that, but I am going to take a little break for the retreat. This is by Fluffy Fuzzy Designs. It is a Quaker ball, so think 26-sided Viscornio. It's 10,675 stitches that I did in 2 months. Yeah. So what's going to happen? There is ballpoint pen. This project may make some people pass out. There's ballpoint pen on this. There are knots. The back is a mess. I'm not even going to show you. There are next to no margins on some of this because all of these ballpoint pen lines are cut lines. This is going to be chopped up into 26 tiny pieces. And then these lines of back stitching are how you actually attach them to each other. So like a biscornu. If you've ever done a biscornu, similar concept with a lot more pieces. I will fully finish that and wrap it for Christmas. She loves a good handmade gift. And she actually has a couple of diamond paintings back when I used to diamond paint hanging in her house that I had framed for her. But I haven't been able to post stitching on Instagram because I've literally been putting over 300 stitches in that a day, as well as, you know, packing, life, stuff like that. I've been doing more quilting. I've been having some like back and hip issues, and sitting and stitching is not the best thing for that. Sewing is actually a lot better because I have to get up and cut and iron and etc. So, all right. Next, let's talk about what the WIPs and new starts and intended finish I am taking to the retreat. Everything is in project bags. I do make project bags, so I think most of these are in one of mine. So bear with me. A lot of zippers and stuff coming your way. First off, I am flying Southwest. I am planning on carrying on my stitching on the way there and checking my clothing. I do have a spare bag packed in case I need to rearrange because I shop too much there. But this is just bag of notions. Flosstube bags, floss drops, needles, markers, pens, highlighters, scissors, etc. I do have some silks in here. Just in case I want to stitch the whatever pattern Colleen gives us in silk. I do have, so you will notice I have a lot of things like Silks for You. One of my local friends sells it. She's like a distributor for our area within our group. I also have a friend who's a fabric dyer, who's my local supplier. You will notice on some of this stuff I'm working on now that I'm about to show you, it's on her fabric. Or I buy a lot from her, okay? I just buy a lot from her. Kind of a problem. Okay, this is my one potential new start. I am taking a lot of patterns. It is not uncommon for me to stitch 2 to 3 patterns a day. Sometimes I'm doing 4 or 5 different projects across the different disciplines I touch. Very, very scatterbrained. I need to find that new dopamine all the time, it feels like. This is the one project I may start. Don't know if I'm going to start it. But I'm bringing stuff that I have digital patterns, I have paper patterns, I have stuff that I can stitch in hand, I have stuff that I can stitch in a hoop, stuff that's on lighter fabric, stuff that's on darker fabric, stuff that requires more counting, stuff that doesn't. Because you never know what you're going to need at a retreat, right? You don't know what you're going to get in the mood for. So, sorry for the crinkle. So, I have the fabric for this. This is called Tenacious Tova. It is by Those Missing Stitches. It is 32 count. It's very pretty. It's like a gray, minty, greeny blue. I'm going to be doing, I have the printout, but it's a digital pattern. And I can't remember who the designer is. Hold on. No. I also have like a bin of stuff that needs to go in these bags. This is Coffee Quaker by a Heartstring Samplery. It's the one that says first I drink the coffee, then I do the things. But I'm going to be starting that potentially there shortly after I get back, probably. More just because I want to start it. I am doing the DMC conversion on that. Because again, I don't have time to wait for Fancy Floss. Okay, I'm trying to get these out. They are packed in there. This was So Stephanie, one of the girls that sits at my table, was working on this as her retreat piece last year and then passed the stash. This is Deck the Halls, I want to say by Primrose. It's on a 16 count ivory Ada with the DMC conversion, 2/1. Started it last year because I needed something quick and easy, and that was that. I haven't really picked it back up. This was the piece I bought for everybody last year. It's called Best Booze Forever by something with sugar in their name. Sorry, trying to find it without showing you the pattern. And I don't know. Sugar Stitches. Okay, so Best Booze Forever by Sugar Stitches. Super cute. Last year I gifted everybody a piece of fabric and the floss after the fact. My friend was nice enough. I'm going to put my hand over this because the pattern's in here now. Stephanie sent us these cute little bags with the kits in them after we got home because life happened and she didn't get them done before the retreat. I get it. Okay. So when I say I have 2 of these to make, this is the second Quaker ball. I've done all the back stitching. I've started. This is a different color scheme. My intention with these was for them to be like Christmas decorations, but I realized in making them that they're actually kind of the colors of their house anyways. So maybe they'll display them all year. Maybe I'll be that lucky. I literally have no idea what this is. Okay. Oh, I know what this is. And you'll actually see some finishes here. So I am taking 13 Spooky Smalls. I bought this last year at the retreat and kitted it up when I got back. And recently decided I needed some new starts. So I started some of the smalls. I've done 2. And then there's a frosted pumpkin piece on this fabric too. So let's do this like this. This is a piece of fabric I picked up last year from Jody of Steel City Stitchers. It's 32 count. It is like a dark gray. It's glittery. It's not opalescent. It is glittery. So I did the... Oh, this is not going to show. It looks so good in person. But the purple is not showing in this lighting. It says, "My broom runs on coffee." All too appropriate. And then we have Come We Fly with the vacuum and the 2 brooms from Hocus Pocus. Also on this fabric is a recent finish of Which Better Have My Candy by the Frosted Pumpkin. All of these are done with called for DMC. There was a fancy floss in Which Better Have My Candy that I didn't do. Again, impatience. If I can just go to Joann's and get my DMC or Michael's, great. Probably not going to wait for fancy floss, or it's going to be one of those things where I buy it and don't stitch it for 6 months because I'm mad I had to wait. My definite new start. So one of my bestest stitchy friends ever is Katie Stitching. She lives all the way in Pennsylvania, and I am so excited to get to squeeze her little face this weekend in just like 48 hours. Yay! We are starting Let's Root for Each Other by Rebel Stitcher as a stitch along together, and I have all the floss for it. It's looking a little rough. Doesn't call for a ton of floss. Doesn't call for a ton of well, it's all fancy floss. I am missing a couple, but I will pick those up in Philly. We will pick fabric together. We've agreed that we are going to put a stitch in each other's project, probably the first stitch, because we're a long distance friendship and it's tough. We used to video chat every other week, I think, but time difference and life has made it hard. So I adore her. Can't wait to see her. And my other friends. Sorry, told you it's a lot up in here today. Okay, this is my one. I will finish this. Okay, I started this last year at the retreat. Had it kitted. Colleen had it ready. Started it. I finished this back in April, except for one word, because I wanted to finish it in Philly with my friends again. And I've asked Colleen to also put a stitch in for me. Sorry, I've now covered up what I need. I will try to keep it clean on here. Okay? I get that not everybody likes cursing. I, however, have the mouth of a sailor when I'm not around my toddler. And things happen. That being said, it's unavoidable with this piece. Okay? And it's big. So this is stitched on 32 count milk chocolate by X2 Designs. It is all of the called for fancy flosses. This is Happily Ever After by Rebel Stitcher. And it says, there once was a woman who gave no fucks. That is the word I will be finishing in Philly. My table mates demanded that they be present when I stitch that word. Not even one. She lived happily ever after. And there's a house and a peacock and bunnies and birds and lots of pretty flowers. I love the color scheme. Love it. Oddly enough, one of the teals is the same exact color as these walls. I held it up and it was just, I knew what color I wanted. Didn't realize it was in my piece too. But yeah, definitely will be finishing that, and she did the same thing last year. I will be smacking the little goat button. That trickery bag was one of mine. So this one I'm also taking a lot of pieces that are multiple pieces on the same fabrics. So like it's a book or multiple patterns that came together from the designer. I'm trying to find this because it's tiny. I did get the latest Sip and Stitch box from Primrose Cottage. I will be starting doing them all in this fabric. This is called Epically Evil Fairy Godmother by Those Missing Stitches. And I did their little freebie pattern. Do you see this? Do you see this? It is 1/1 using the provided floss because they sent us all the DMC in the box. I plan on finishing that into a scissor fob. I will be doing the other 2 patterns from that box on this fabric. I love it. I love having somebody local who I'm like, I want this thing. Can you make it happen? And she does. She's fantastic. So if you need an awesome fabric dyer, please check out Those Missing Stitches on Etsy. I love Lynn. She's my favorite. She also has a great Flosstube. So real quick, some of the Flosstubers I watch are Those Missing Stitches. Very data driven. Does a lot of full coverage. Does a lot of Halloween. Love her. She's funny. And she's my friend locally. Love Wicked Cat Stitches. She's very, like, goth. Stitches a lot of monochromatic, variegated floss type patterns. And actually, she inspired this next WIP. I watch Katie Stitching, of course, because she's my buddy, and I gotta keep up with her. And we stitch a lot of similar things. In fact, a lot of our projects, like, we just pass things back and forth as we finish them. I watch Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch because she also knits, quilts, sews, etc. I've used several of her tutorials and then changed measurements to make my stuff. I watch Sally Yoon. She's a big Frosted Pumpkin fan as well. And she has some great finishing tutorials. I need to have a finishing fiesta. That's all I've got to say, because I have a whole bin of finishes upstairs right now that need my attention. Anyways, back to WIPs. I'm going to stop talking at some point, I swear. So this is... Sorry, floss everywhere. This is All Souls Band by Quiltify Designs. It is stitched 2/2. on 32 count Humorous Hyacinth by those missing stitches. Stitched with the Barbie Silks For You floss, which is this really awesome, like, pink and purple variegated floss. There are skulls and things in this pattern, and I just thought it'd be really funny that you saw these bright colors, and you're like, oh, that's so pretty, and then you look close, and it's skulls and spiders and bats, and that's my personality for you. Dark on the inside, bright on the outside. I'm gonna have to stand up for this. I am a Harry Potter fan. I am a Potterhead. I've made myself a bag. It is gorgeous. This is Frogwarts. Katie and I are both stitching Frogwarts. Excuse me as I stand up and get close. I am stitching all 7 Frogwarts bands on one piece of fabric. This is 32 count Poetic Pony Boy by those missing stitches. And this is where having a fabric dyer comes in handy, because I said, hey, Lynn, I need a piece of fabric that is 18 by 54 inches long. Y'all, I am 64 inches. Okay, I'm 5'4". This is literally me. It's a blanket. So I've only done the first year. I'm not quite done. I still have the etoile, the back stitching, and the little beans to stitch, because they're really highly variegated. But, like, it just goes and goes and goes. And hey, I have a piece of floss there. There's needles and floss everywhere in the shed. Toes may not be safe. But yeah, I was lucky enough that Lynn custom cut a piece of fabric for me to make this work. And I do have an epic finishing idea when I finish it many, many years from now, because that last piece doesn't even come out for 2 years. So yeah, that's all my WIPs I'm taking. That's a lot of WIPs. Sorry, we're almost 40 minutes. Okay, this is the part where if you're going to the retreat, you don't want to know what I'm bringing, because you're a table mate, you're Katie, etc. Though there's no surprises for Katie. She's seen it all. It's literally, hey, I'm gonna make you something. Do you want to know what it is? Yes. So I have been stockpiling stuff for Katie this entire year. Since I knew I was going back to see her this year, I basically told her, you have to come deal with it. So I also made her, I make grime guards. These are scroll rod grime guards for her. They match her Frogwarts bag. This was my, oh no. This was my latest project, and it was a nightmare, my sewing project. So this is one of those sofa things, because she just got new furniture. But there's all sorts of pockets, and it has her name on it. And there's like a needle thing. And there's magnets here, and like a little cup, and a pin cushion, and another little bucket that I'll snap on. I also made myself one, but I have not finished the hand stitching on that, so. I also made her a knitting bag that is reversible. It's very, very cute. Bought the fabrics, didn't know what I was going to do with them. She said she loved them. I said, oh, they need to be knitting bags then. Oh, and I will go over my knitting WIPs real quick after this. Sorry. Made a couple grime guards for an order. I do make grime guards, project keepers, project folders, retreat mats, 2 different kinds of project bags, 2 different kinds of tote bags, all custom, all personalized. I can personalize them all. If you ever need something, you can get me on Instagram and leave a comment here. You can also email me at willstitch4coffee, all one word, at gmail.com. I'm probably not going to go into all this because this is mostly for Katie. I do have some stuff for Colleen. I bought her another piece of that epically evil fairy godmother in her preferred count on Ada. I also found a cute little sign that she might like. Let's see. Sorry, trying to find Katie. This is my table gift for this year. So if you are at my table, you didn't see this yet. Okay, you get it in 48 hours. These are just little floss beds. So there's a button and some elastic. And this is Katie's. It's just flannel. I cross-stitched everybody's initials on it and gave everybody a snag nabbit because I had a ton and they're a really useful tool. But yep, just a little folding floss bed. So where's that? And like I literally have bags and fabric and patterns I've picked up off freebie tables and all sorts of stuff in here for Katie. This is my little, like, there's only about 100 people at this retreat, so it's not completely chaotic, but I am bringing this lovely, if it will pick up, floss. It is silk. It is Silks for You PR 0184, I think, if I remember the name. The number, it's like very Halloween-y. It's green and black and purple and orange, kind of all variegated together. So if you're at the retreat, come find me, you get silk. There's 5 yards on each floss strap. So I also made her a frogwarts bag. I've made her other things. I've made her so much stuff and like sent her some and then saved some of this, of course. Ooh, I have Flosstube now. Hey, I'm for real now. I am taking my knitting on the plane, so that's kind of why it's off to the side. I figured it would be much easier than trying to cross stitch. And I do have a couple WIPs, so the first one, sorry, trying to find the right side of this. This is from the Harry Potter Knitting Magic book. Is the Dark Mark Illusion scarf, which you can see when you hold it at an angle that this is the Dark Mark down here. And then it has a spell for it on the other end. This is going to take a while. I think this scarf is something like 90 inches long. And I'm on row like 48 of 500 and something. And the other one I'm working on, I try not to have too many knitting WIPs because they do tend to take up a lot of space. Though I do, and I am a baby knitter. These are only my first 2 projects. But I do plan on doing more eventually. Just would like to finish one thing and then not have 97 WIPs like I have with my cross stitch. This is a blanket for my kiddo. She picked the color. It is a very, very bright purple. And I picked the pattern. And so this spot is where the like border ended, and then I am almost through the second repeat of the actual like block pattern, and there's 7, almost 8 full repeats of this block pattern. So I am almost a quarter of the way done with this, actually. It's supposed to be, I think, 34 by 43 inches, so. But I recently picked it. I put it down for a while because I had it on straight needles, and it was very heavy with all of the stitches just shoved on the needle, and it wasn't very hard. It was very hard to wrangle. I recently just put it on these circulars because the straight needles wouldn't even fit in my personal item for the plane. And it's so much easier. So I've actually put in a couple rows. I will try to remember to put progress markers on these so the next time, if I worked on them, you can see where I'm at. But I think that's it. Knitting WIPs, stitching WIPs, introduction, retreat prep. I think that's all you get. We're 45 minutes in on my first video. So, a lot. Sorry. I'll try to update every couple weeks and post. It will usually be on a weekday, not a weekend, because I have a kid, and that's all I do on the weekends is take care of the kid. If you check out some of my friends, if you're local to Sacramento, reach out to me. Let's get you connected with my lovely stitching group. They're a lot of fun. And other than that, I will see you in a couple weeks when I'm no longer jet lagged from flying to the East Coast. And hopefully this is cleaned up and I'm more organized. So maybe I'll even do some ironing for you guys. All right, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to. If you want to hop on the Hot Mess Express, because that's life for me. Okay, thanks. Bye.